Anyway, if I told him he's got to be on time, and he's not, so we'll start.
Have we started?
Yeah. He's coming now. We're on.
Huh?
We're on. You, of course, you want to just make a grand entrance. It's all about you. Your thing's down there as well for later. Watch the chords.
Sorry,
watch
Supreme Leader Joe.
Watch the chords. Watch the chords. Watch it. Now,
Hi, guys.
boys. Firstly, actually, yeah.
New sponsor?
Well, we do, but that's for later. But before I hit the sting, 150th episode for us tonight, and it snuck up on us. But it's a milestone. He's confused with milk, not with an empty one.
Yeah, but it's not just any milk.
It's St. David's Dairy full cream, actually, premium. It's a big one. It's a milestone, and I think it's worth self-indulging for a second. Is it not? I actually just want to say to both of you, thank you very much for the 5 years. I do. You laugh.
No, it's been good.
I'm
We
actually
really
serious.
enjoyed
I'm
it.
trying to be serious, and you laugh.
No, we appreciate. Didn't we say we're going to do a live episode and run through a banner at 150?
Yeah, we
No, I think for 200
Nah,
we
200.
said.
Was it 200?
Yeah, I don't know how we're going to do that. This is a pretty small studio.
Well, the way we're going, that might even be like, what, 3 seasons or 2 seasons away?
Yeah, because
Do you
we're
reckon
not
the
doing
car-
finals episodes at this point.
Do you reckon the Carlton Cheer Squad would actually would do a banner for us?
On game day?
No.
Oh,
like
as
a
in
separate
they'll
one.
make
No,
one.
no, we're
Yeah, I
gonna
reckon-
run with
Actually, that's a good point. I might ask him. Yeah, I'll say that.
Ask him.
either
yeah.
that or at least
Boys.
get us to run through the banner with them.
Oh, yeah, because
The boys.
the club's really going to want us to run through the boys. Cheers, boys. 150.
Things turn.
It's a good milestone. I appreciate you both. I appreciate you both being here each week. He laughs because he can't. He
It's
doesn't know how to
so
take a
corny,
compliment.
and it's not how he is behind closed doors.
But okay. Anyway, you know what? Fuck you.
1, 2, 3, 4.
It was clean. It was clinical. Like we executed to perfection.
Now, I'd like to actually go into a few stats and I questioned Charlie about a month or so ago.
That is so frustrating as a fan. All you needed was an extra 2-3%.
On the podcast, you're a shit person. You're arrogant. You're obnoxious. I'm sick of it, and I reckon I've got 2 more episodes in me.
Welcome, everyone, to episode 150 of the Almost Blues Brothers podcast, part of the Blue Abroad Media Network in 2025 and proudly powered by Mavros Studios here in Preston. Mavros is where you can find Mavros on Google. Every time I come into this studio, I'm still wrapped. And Jordan's done a brilliant job tonight. Didn't take me too long to set up tonight, boys. I know he's watching, so shout out to Jordan. He's at home. He's not doing the Jamie role anymore like he was a couple of weeks ago. He'll be back for a couple.
I actually liked having him there. It was good.
He'll be back for a couple later this year. Boys, before we get into the footy, as usual, I'll ask you first. Go on. What did you do this weekend? Oh, I'm sure it was riveting.
Oh, no, I just worked. And just did stuff around the garden.
I reckon you probably did, eh?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I had a birthday last night. How's this? So I had a mate's birthday. He had a barbecue at his house. Barbecue didn't work.
Oh,
Work that out. How do you not just test it before everyone comes?
I mean, you don't really need to test it, but
Just check. He goes, oh, it worked. He goes, it works when I try to cook one steak. He
What
had
was the
40
barbecue?
people there. He had 50
What was the barbecue? What brand? Was it Weber?
It was old,
Oh,
like real old.
Mm.
Yeah.
it shouldn't matter. Barbecue's a barbecue. Just get it working.
How's Jules' barbecue the other week with a little lighter?
Do you like it?
It works. It still
Fuck,
works.
did I not get it going?
It was good. It was fine. Anything else? No. Jules, what did you go to?
Actually, nothing really. To be honest with you, legit nothing.
You must regret that question. You must just hate that question every week now.
This
surely.
portion of the segment, he dreads.
Yeah, dread. That's the word I was looking for.
No, I didn't do anything. Just
Give me something.
watch the footy. That was it.
Okay, good.
Legit. That's all. Literally all I did.
Just Carlton. Do you watch any other game?
No, fuck. I don't watch football. I barely want to watch us.
I tell you what, it's just, I don't know. 150 episodes, he said the same thing every week.
Every time.
Short and sweet, to the point.
Oh, shit.
There we go.
Yeah, Joe.
Nah, I didn't. Actually, I caught up with James Daly. He was down for his 30th. Shout out to James. He's 30 years old. A couple of days ago. He came down from Queensland.
Is that where you were last night?
Last
I
night
called
when
you.
I called you, yeah. It wasn't a big night. It was fine. I've been a bit crook. I've actually been a bit crook this week, so it's. I think I'm over the
You're always
peak
crook
of it.
now.
That's what I said to him.
Yeah or no? Yeah.
He does. He always
I
gets sick.
I
always
haven't
sick.
been sick for like 7 months, which is a good period for me. Because last year it was like every 2-3 months.
Disagree with that.
No
It's
chance.
true.
It's
You cop
better.
a sore throat or a fever every 3
No,
weeks.
I'm wrong. Since I was in hospital in London, I haven't been sick. But that was 7 months ago. That's a good stint for me over the past 2 years. I'm telling you, I was at 2-3 months last year. I'm not disagreeing with you.
The
but right
listeners
now,
want you to get a blood test.
I'm dying. It is what it is. When I die, this podcast dies. That's a fact. We all know that.
No, we can put some replacements in.
Yeah, all right.
P. Sebastiani.
All right. Without any further ado.
Yeah, let's get into it. Could be, but you know what? It actually won't be.
Yeah, I mean, it could be a very short.
It won't be,
because
though.
I don't know. No, we'll have a bit to talk about, but I don't know. Look, all right, we're on the board. Let's just say that finally for 2025, we're on the board. We're 1-4, right?
So bad.
We're 1-4 when we should be at least 3-2. That's the reality of it. So, if you're tuning in tonight and you're expecting a positive show, tune out. You're not getting it. I'm telling you, because the standard of that game from us,
It was shocking.
that was the most excruciating 70-point win I have ever watched in my life. Ever. They made it look so hard. Do you agree?
The standard was shocking. It was Carlton versus Witches Hats. And we were still struggling. Is that right?
It looked
Is
hard.
that fair?
You know what? I wouldn't say struggling. I'll just how did I say it before, Joe? I said it like as if we made it look so hard than what it actually was.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, and it was just purely based on numbers.
Do you remember playing attackers versus defenders in training
Yeah.
for soccer?
But it's just shadow play.
And it was the defenders and like the attackers obviously had a lot more ownership on them.
Well, the coach would usually say to the defenders, like, just hold your structure.
No, but even if they didn't, there was more ownership on the attackers to really
yeah,
push,
that's right,
push.
to push. Yeah.
And the defenders would love it because it'd be so hard for them to score. That's that game. That's that game in a nutshell.
Literally. I don't know. I sat there watching it thinking, this is a waste of time.
Do you know when I turned?
just a
I
waste
turned the
of
game
time.
off at one point when Patrick Cripps scored his goal and Gimby moved out of the way on the mark that Cripps could just run through. I turned it off. I go, this is just.
Oh, yeah, that was
Yeah,
a
that
Did you
disgrace.
see that? He
Yeah,
didn't.
that was
He just
disgusting.
moved out of
That was
from
a
the man of the
disgrace.
mark.
It was a disgrace. So final scores, Carlton 17-19, 121, West Coast 6-14, 50, 71-point win in the end. Goals for the Blues, we had 9 goal kickers, which was better to see, but still only 9 in a game like that is just, it's still not good enough for me. Doherty, Lloyd, Fogarty, McGovern, White with 1 each. Charlie kicked 2, Cripps kicked 3, Walsh kicked 3, and Dirts kicked 4. We will have a few positives to talk about, I think, in terms of players. I think there were some individuals that looked like they were finding their feet, but I still don't know how much you can take away from a game like that. Injuries for the Blues, obviously Mackay with the concussion, he won't play on Friday against North. And Kemp, I don't know if it's been confirmed, but that is an Achilles.
I think
don't
it's
care what anyone
Achilles,
Says.
yeah.
That is probably season for Kempy, which is sad. He was finding his touch, and unfortunately, looks like we're going to have to do it without him.
Well, to be honest, I think that those two talking points with H and Kemp out is probably more to talk about than the actual game itself.
Yeah, I think we'll get
And
there.
we're in the review
I think
and the
when we get to the
preview.
preview,
Yeah.
we'll talk about H and Kemp and the impact that their absence might leave. But boys, I don't even know where to start with this game. Honestly, like you've got, I'm sure you got stats tonight that, like, in terms of record number, some of them had to be record numbers in
I've
terms of
got-
differential.
No, contested
I've
possession.
got plus things for us. Like, so for example, plus 140 disposals.
Bring the mic a bit closer, Jules. Just
Yeah.
bring it closer.
I can't, man. It's going to fall off the table.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Yeah.
Plus 140 disposals. Plus 38 inside 50s.
Yeah.
Plus 22 clearances. Plus 59 contested possessions. Plus 89 uncontested possessions. Like, that's just how, like, destructive, well, we were. But in the end,
That's how bad West Coast are.
yeah. I mean, you can obviously go through the numbers, but I know what did we kick 121 in the end?
129.
It was how many goals was that? It was
17 goals, 19.
19.
Just went through the match report.
Should know this stuff, Jules. 360 feedback. Noted.
Not listening.
Like,
There you go.
like this game mattered.
Gavin Whelan just said, if Jules brings the mic any closer, he's going to be deep throating it. Just for the listeners, these mics have to be quite close, otherwise you'll hear us drop out.
Hey,
But
to our
that's very
listeners,
funny.
their comments lately have been absolutely spot on.
Very good.
The engagement's been unreal.
Yeah, very good.
Like, I don't know. I just feel like as if the game, even though we kicked 121 points, the efficiency going inside, especially early, I think it got easier, obviously, as the game went on. But early when the game was there to be won, I'd say the efficiency was very, very poor.
All game.
Yeah, but like when the heat was semi on,
Yeah.
I'm talking like by the
stages
second
of the game.
half,
Early
it was
stages of the
done.
game. Yeah.
So in terms of when the game was on, still our efficiency, so that's like that's the only game, like part of the game that we're really going to be able to judge, not in its entirety, but like the second half, you might as well just write it off. The
Agreed.
majority of the game, you should write it off anyway. But if we're going to judge any part of the game in terms of whether we should have been more efficient or not, it's the first quarter, it's the first half. And even then, I feel like as if we struggled.
I'll tell you something. The way to describe that game was lackluster at best. And the West Coast didn't defend.
No, they didn't. They
Actually refused to defend.
We didn't really defend either,
No,
to be fair.
No, but they actually didn't.
Yeah.
And we were still struggling with our entries. Don't get me wrong, I did notice that our entries were deeper, especially in the first quarter. But there was 3 moments, I think it was 5 minutes into the game. I hope I don't get this wrong, but Matt Carroll hit up someone just sort of on the 50 arc, and he gave the ball to Motts. Motts tried to take
Got run down.
and got run down.
Yeah.
Number 1.
Yeah.
Number 2, there was a deep entry. Motts got the ball, gave it to Charlie. Charlie, instead of going for goal, hand pass.
5-meter handball went straight over the top. Zach
Number
Williams.
2.
Zach Williams labouring inside
Correct.
50, like no one's going to tackle him, gets run down.
Yeah.
Hold on, Joe. It's not your moment.
Oh, sorry.
I was doing number 3.
Was that number 3?
Yes.
Thought it was. Yeah, what else
That's
you
gone 360 feedback as well.
got? What else have you got?
No, there were 3 moments.
Yeah,
and I looked at that and I
that's
went,
early in the game.
I looked, no, but from all of those errors that we could have actually capitalised on the scoreboard, Oscar Allen, I think he scored. Waterman missed from it. It was directly from those errors they had actually had a set shot at goal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you saying yes to agree? Or are you
No, I
listening?
agree.
Yeah. The game was going end to end. Like there wasn't really any defensive element to the game whatsoever.
None.
The game was just
It was pinball.
Yeah, the game was ping ball.
Ping or pin?
No, he was going to say ping pong and pinball, so he got confused.
You went
It's
ping
ping
ball.
pong, not pinball. It was like ping pong.
Yeah.
Just back and forth.
Yeah.
You got it wrong.
No,
Exactly.
he said ping.
I know, but you got it wrong.
Yeah.
Go, Jules. Continue. I'm with you tonight.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I reckon. Honestly, I just feel like as if the game was going from end to end. There's no real emphasis to defend whatsoever. So, I mean, I just feel it's hard to judge the game. Really, there's not much to speak
No,
about
but you can't.
in terms of
there's not much you can take out from our performance. There's just not. When the team that you come up against is that poor, there's nothing you can take away from that.
and obviously Voss even said it in his presser.
Yeah, I mean,
You know?
but and this is the thing. Like the only thing that I can take away with it is it should have been more. Really, like we should have been even better. The differentials in those stats, any other team would have put West Coast away by 100 plus.
So how's this?
And I'm not saying a 70-point win's not good. Like obviously you want to get a win when you can, and it's still a big win. But in the context of the season, which you still got to keep in mind for us, we're 1-4.
Yeah,
You
But-
can't be content.
You know, like the inside 50s that you're talking about. Yeah. And I'm not talking about in terms of like you're saying they're long and deeper and so on. But like the reason why we had probably easy access, or not probably.
Because there's
the
no
reason-
pressure.
Well, it's because it was against West Coast.
No, Witches had.
Yeah. That was
Literally
the
Witches
reason why.
had.
So,
It was bad. Like Walsh. All right, so Walsh has had a good game. He's had 37-3, but the amount of space that he was afforded throughout the entire game. Kidding ourselves if we think he's going to get that space against any other team. It's not going to happen next week against North. He's not going to just be able to waltz through and in open space for the entirety of the game and just clean up
Yeah,
uncontested
I
possession.
mean, even last game, Walsh did have way more uncontested numbers than previously as well.
He's
So
definitely on the
He's
yeah.
definitely getting more on the outside.
Just quickly,
Yeah, what's Paul winning by?
second quarter, right?
Yeah,
What do you reckon the score would be
I
based
don't
on
know.
what we saw in the first?
Well, they're up by how many? 4 goals?
60
6
to
goals?
15.
It is 70-8.
What?
Jesus. This is the thing with the Hawks. We were talking about it pre-show. I don't think they're that good. Anyway, it's not Hawks.
Do you know that? Hey, listen to this, boys. So in midway through the second quarter, we'd had 9 marks inside 50.
Yes.
Do you know that our average for the game,
was like
the
8.
last 4 was 8.
8. Yeah.
Yeah.
8.
Against Collingwood, it was 4 for the
Yeah,
game.
4. Yeah. Yeah. And this is the thing. So
To
this
put
is,
into perspective how
you've gotta-
bad we've been
you've gotta
in that
look-
area.
if you are going to be ultra critical, which we need to be, because if as supporters, if you want to see success now with this team, you got to be ultra critical of even that performance there. You cannot read into the stats. You cannot read
No.
into the way that we move the footy. I don't want to hear, oh, how good was our ball movement through the corridor, mate. I could have moved the ball through the corridor against West Coast. They were terrible. Like, I can't understate how bad West Coast actually are. So we thought Richmond were going to be the worst team in the comp. By a mile, West Coast is so far off it, it's not funny.
Agree.
Not funny. They'd get slapped by VFL teams at this point, the way that they play these games. So you can't read into, but we were hitting targets inside 50. We're hitting the fat side of the inside 50 to space and letting our forwards run into it, and we're switching it across the arc. That's all fine and well, but if they come out against North and we start bombing it long again without looking, or we start just hack kicking it forward to packs at the top of the 50 arc, it's all for nothing. So now what they've got to do to prove that, okay, we've learned something from that game, because you still can learn things from that game. You can run yourself into a bit of form and you can run yourself into a little bit of game awareness going forward, is you've got to do it again against North. You got to then do it again against Geelong, and you've got to show
Go
us
on a bit of a run.
Show us those same. No, not about that. It's more so show us the same process and patterns that you showed us in a training drill. Essentially, it was a glorified training drill on Saturday.
It was a training drill.
Yeah. So that until we see it for the next 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games, and it's consistent, and we see Walsh racking up 35.
You got to
and
hold
kicking
them to a
goal,
high
or-
standard.
You have
The-
to.
yeah.
You have
The
to.
only way in which our ball movement is going to get not better, but in terms of our efficiency going inside forward 50 is if we get certain players like the ball in their hands, and that is a Walsh on the outside where he does have time and space. You know, and yeah, you got to see it against West Coast, but you've seen it before as well. It's not like as if he's never done it. Okay, players like a Cottrell. He's actually, in terms of ball use,
Good.
He's actually very, very good in between the 50 and the centre circle. As
We
well.
used to criticise his ball.
I know, he worked
ball
on it a
use.
lot.
Nah, he's
Yeah.
like, I'm telling you, for like the last few years,
Yeah, he's been good.
He's been very, very good, and obviously he's got good ability to move around across the ground as well. Another one is Williams too. He's got that ability to look like as if he's going to go right, and then he'll sort of duck his kick and go left. Who else is another? Even a Carroll. Carroll's got that ability too with his left foot as well. I know
Looks
he did.
like
I know he
does,
did.
absolutely.
I know
Yeah,
he did
it's
miss
cool.
a couple as well. I think one went out of bounds on the full, but
He takes that kick.
He takes the kick on, and he takes it quickly. So he doesn't lack any confidence in terms of like trying to hit the 45 or try and hit a player up in the lead or any tight sort of areas. You can see that he's got a good left peg. He's a genuine footballer. So
I do have to say that credit to probably Dirds
Mhm.
for him sort of taking his opportunity. I thought, irrespective of how the game and how bad the opposition were, I think Dirds in his role was fantastic. I know we're going to go more into individual players, but how much can you really review of the game
No,
in its entirety?
There's not much more to
So
review.
I do
want to
speak about Dirds.
What else are you going to talk about? Like,
Yeah.
There's nothing.
Because his intensity and his pressure.
Actually, hold on. Actually, you just reminded me. Before we go into players, can I say
Right.
one more thing about the game?
Go.
And in terms of standards.
Yeah.
So, 2 things. Number one, we conceded 20 shots on goal from 35 inside 50s in a very, very low pressure game. That's not good enough against a team that is downright terrible. Like, that's what? Their scoring efficiency is basically above 60 at that point, I think. Yeah, I think that's right. Something like
It would be,
close.
yeah.
20.
20 divided 35. It'd be about 60%. Has to be.
Yeah, a bit less.
or
But yeah.
a little bit less, right? So that's not good enough. Because against
No,
a
great.
team that can move the ball better and that can execute better and can actually just turn the heat up a little bit on us, that like you're going to concede 25, 30 shots on goal, right? They kicked 4-12 at the end of the day. Like they weren't that great. Was it 4-12? No, 6-14 at the end of the day. Second part. What can I want to ask you both. When we talk about selfless football, right? What's your expectation of a team that is selfless, the way that they play the game? If I said what is it that would describe, in terms of what you're seeing, a selfless football team?
Selfless.
Selfless.
Blocks, shepherds,
Mm.
tackles,
Mm.
blocks.
Yeah, working
even
for
in
your man.
terms of
Yeah,
blocks, even in terms of like blocking for Charlie to get on a lead and get an uncontested mark. I'll also say
working
like,
for your
I would
team,
even
mate.
say like running to negate an opposition player. So then another player who's already done 5 or 6 repeat efforts, knowing that he's done it, I'd do it for you.
Spot
No
on.
worries. I'll take that.
Anything else, Dad?
No, he's
Yeah. The one thing that you didn't say was these little handballs inside the fucking goal square just to be selfless on the stat sheet and give it a goal assist. I don't care. That is fake selfless to me. It's fine. I understand with ball in hand, there's an intent to try and show that you're being a little bit selfless with your teammates. I don't remember seeing a single block off the ball. I don't remember seeing a single
I don't think you need. I
shepherd.
don't think they
In a
need.
game
it.
but
like
you know
that.
what? But in a game
Do you
like
know what I
that,
mean?
I get it. I get
Yeah.
it. But there were a couple of times where I thought there was a passage of play. No one's going to remember it, but it was in the 4th quarter. We're running inside 50. George Hewitt gave a little handball to, I think it was Matt Carroll on his left-hand side. There's a West Coast player chasing Carroll. All Hewitt needed to do was block him. Didn't. Just let him run straight past. And it's these little things where against slightly better opposition, you're going to get exposed.
I'll tell you something.
You just will. So those are the standards that I'm looking at now at this football club. Because in a game like that, if you can't show that level of selflessness, it worries me a bit.
I look at it very different.
Go.
In that game, I was looking for tackles that hurt. I was looking for tenacity in the way that we were able to pressure and tackle. And you're going to say, well, we had a lot more of the possession, but you can still show a lot more intent.
Intent.
A lot more intent. You can show a lot more intent in the way that you play your footy and the way that you go about your footy. I'm sorry. Like, that's what I wanted to see. Crunch, tackle,
did you see
harass.
No,
No.
I mean, there were a couple. Durd stood his ground. Carroll stood his ground.
Yeah, but why?
Okay,
That's the
For me,
standard. But that's the standard that's going to
For me,
push
it's
the.
not a game in which
You're not thinking about this game,
I-
Jules. You're
I'm
thinking
not-
about your next game.
I know,
You're thinking about
but
North Melbourne.
I'm
You're
not-
thinking about all these other
I don't.
teams.
The thing is, like, you can't do that every single game in terms of, like, you can't do it, okay, every single game, for 4 quarters. It's impossible, all right? But against North, I'm not expecting it either. I'm expecting to win against North, and pretty convincingly. But when you need to, like, if you go ahead, like, in the fixture, against GWS, you're going to need to. Against Sydney, you're going to need to.
St Kilda,
Like,
at the
even
moment,
saying,
you're gonna
like,
have to.
those kinds, especially St Kilda.
So what's
Those
standards?
kinds of teams, you can't do it every single game.
No,
It's
but what are you
impossible.
setting if you're not doing it?
You need to do
It
it
needs
when
to be
it's on.
repetition. Repetition becomes innate. So if you're not doing it, even
But I'm
against
kind of with Jules here. So we spoke about this today. I'm a little bit with Jules. What's the disposal differential in the end? 140?
140.
Well, I think we laid 35 tackles for the game, which is what you would expect in that game, Pov. You would.
I'm saying though, it's not. It's about it's the intent of the team,
Yeah.
Joe. That's what I'm talking about.
I am.
There's
I'm
not
on
a
the
hunger.
fence.
Where's the hunger still?
I'm on
Where,
the fence. I'm on the
No,
fence on
I
this one.
agree.
Where is the hunger
agree,
to
but-
take blood?
but
That's
the-
a West Coast
the-
team that's shit. Win by over 100 points and
The-
show that you on a mission
Yeah.
to actually start
The
to make a run.
the
Not it was
difference is-
lackluster, and
the
we're here.
difference is-
But Jules, we're here as
I'll
supporters.
tell you what the
Oh,
difference
wait,
is.
wait,
The
go.
difference is against West Coast. I do not care.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
I understand.
Do it against a fucking good team.
I know,
Yeah,
but
I
it's
agree
That's the
with that.
difference.
But
Do it against
Jules-
a good team and do it week in and week out against a good team and then fucking win against a good team like we should have won against Collingwood, like we should have won against Hawthorn. Do it then.
It
Don't
has to
about now
start
against
somewhere,
West
though.
Coast.
It has to start somewhere.
Hey, that's as
West
much emotion
Coast,
I've ever
West
seen.
Coast,
That's fucking
West Coast,
grass.
it does
Go.
not matter. Win the game, it
Agree.
does not matter.
Agree.
Do it every single game against a good team.
So
Yeah.
what
West
about
Coast is
selfless hand
irrelevant.
passes then?
No, but that's bullshit. It's fake. This is what I'm
he never goes and tackles and pressures. It's all that's fake. That's should have mind done the handball.
Yeah, but they
should've
went and
minded the
scored
handball.
from. They went and had a scoring shot. They
Yeah,
went and had a
but-
scoring opportunity from
yeah,
that.
I get it, but it was a kick in, and they went from coast to
They
coast.
went coast to coast.
Why is that? It's not because Charlie missed the handball.
I know,
it's
but
because
it's
the team defense from the kick in was terrible.
But still
That's what it
concerning.
is. But it's not because of the handball. It's because of the team defense.
That's still the whole thing's still concerning. It can't not be.
It is. No,
But-
I agree.
But whether they did it or didn't do it, I'd still be concerned.
Of course.
That's the thing. So it's irrelevant.
To be honest, I think you're both almost saying the same thing. In a sense, I think you're coming at it from a different angle from what Dan is, though. I agree with you. I don't give a fuck if they did it against West Coast. I don't care. Because it doesn't.
You know
prove
what?
it.
You know.
Someone keeps knocking their mic. Hold on, boys. We'll sort this out.
Apologies to listeners. Someone keeps knocking their mic and it just keeps cutting out. But obviously we're fired up. It's good. It's good to see a bit of passion. It's nice. But it's I think
I
like
can't
said,
believe we're passionate about playing West Coast.
No, but it's not about. We're not passionate about playing West Coast. We're passionate about the standards that we
We're
want to see
passionate
going
about
forward.
wanting to actually do something this year instead of being mediocre.
Anyway, that's Jules. That's your finest hour. Genuinely,
It's true, man. It
That's
doesn't
the
matter
vein-
against
the
West
vein
Coast.
went in the
vein
middle of his
went.
head.
Yeah, it came
It
from
doesn't matter
nowhere.
against West Coast, mate. The next 4 weeks, who do we have?
Yeah, so it's
Who do we have?
It's
North Melbourne.
It's North.
Beat
which-
North Melbourne.
Yeah, you've got to just win. Geelong.
Mate, that's a team you need to nail. That's when the pressure, that's when the heat is on.
That's a
That's
team
when you want to go.
I'll
Where you
sit
want to
back
go.
and go. Okay, I saw it. If we bring it.
Correct. But now can we bring it consistently
Yeah.
against good sides?
Correct.
But
Because then you
what
got
do-
Adelaide the week after in Adelaide, and that's
No,
another
but
one.
like if we play, for example, who's another terrible side?
Richmond again.
No, but don't worry
We're not
about
gonna-
Richmond. What's another side that's not good? Not going. Melbourne, for example. Like really, the way they're going, we shouldn't need to bring that intent for 4 quarters.
No,
No.
not for 4. Like I understand that, Jules. Not for 4 quarters, but in the first quarter, second quarter, show us this. Show us what we know. That like. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
I get it, but at the end of the day, we still would have been, even if they brought it for 4 quarters, I'd still be questioning whether they can do it consistently over the course of the season.
Mm.
So it's irrelevant. This is what I'm saying. It needs to be done in the right moments when the heat is on, when the games are needed to be won. That's so. For example,
But we're
Hawthorn-
judging this
Do you know what
game.
Hawthorn did? You know what Hawthorn did? I get you.
We're judging
But
this game
Hawthorn-
West
do you
Coast.
know what
I'm
they-
not judging what they're going to do
but
next
Hawthorn,
week.
for example, apparently they're the benchmark of the competition.
Being slapped right now.
Well, they're
today.
getting slapped.
Before today.
Yeah.
But for example, if say before this game had started, we already started the podcast. Yeah. The way all they did with us was keep up. That third quarter, their pressure went from what 160, 170 to 220.
Yeah.
And we couldn't keep up.
Their pressure was
They
still high.
They just went bam.
Yeah,
See you later.
in a
I'm
moment.
gone.
In a moment. Yeah.
That's the difference.
Look, it's an it's an interesting discussion, and like I think I'm with Jules. Ultimately, I don't care, Bob. At the end of the day, what they showed me in this game, I never would have really cared.
I'm
I'm
talking about setting a standard
I
from now.
understand. I understand, but from now, correct. So that's where I think you're both saying the same thing. You've got to see it next week. You've got to see it against Adelaide. You've got to see it against against Geelong. Otherwise, you're not. Are you going to be convinced if they do it against North? No. It's got to be week in, week out.
No, but if I'm seeing them literally wanting blood at the way they're going about their footy, you're going to go, all right, there's a change in mentality with the team.
Yeah, but
This team is mentally weak. I want to see a change in mindset with the team.
But I want to see.
If you're waiting for
blood.
the next week, waiting for the next week, you're going to come up to Geelong and you haven't done it
I
for
wanna
4
see-
weeks.
But like for me as a player, Carlton, I don't get any confidence whether we gave in 10 for 4 quarters against the West Coast. I just don't. As a player, if I was playing, for me, I get no confidence. For me, it's just another game, another win,
Actually,
I move
that's a
on.
good point. So if you're the
That's
playing
what it
group,
is.
if you're the playing
What
group,
confidence am I going to get?
if you're the playing
No,
group,
you're not. But
Zero.
in yourself, you should. If
No,
you're
zero.
coasting, it's bullshit.
I get 0 from that. Because that's a game I know
If
we
you're
should
coasting,
win and
it's
should win
bullshit.
comfortably and without putting in any effort.
They are loving Jules tonight in the chat.
It's true.
Can see the veins popping out of your neck apparently on camera.
The middle forehead one's the best.
But it came out of nowhere. I was wrapped. I just thought, let it
It's
go.
true, though.
I agree.
Mate,
On that, if you're the playing group and you're getting back on that play, and you can go back into Corey Doonan plays in a minute. Sorry to derail a bit, but it was a good discussion in the end. if you are the playing group, getting on that plane, right? So if you're that playing group that travelled to Adelaide, all the coaching staff or whoever, what are you thinking of that? Like, what are you genuinely taking away from that? Because I would be shocked if they tried to take anything from that whatsoever as a group.
Well, I said don't sing the song. I said I would have walked off the field, don't sing the song, go and get home.
I mean, you got to sing the song. But for me, I'm literally taking 4 points. For me, I'm taking 4 points, and that's it. I'm moving on.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's some things in the game that the coaching staff are going to look at. Okay, so for example, like some of the kicks that they pulled to go inside forward 50. They will look at that, like with Cottrell and Williams, and on the other occasion in terms of the ball movement, they will. But at the end of the day, we did it against the West Coast. Even if we did it round 1 against Richmond, if we did it, look at Richmond now, like they're nowhere near it either. So. Yeah, I don't take too much from the game, other than some confidence in like a Carroll, in a Durden.
Can I ask a question? Can I ask a question? If we were 2-2 and then we belted them like that, and now we're 3-2, so with that context, so if we beat Richmond, we beat the Bulldogs, we win those 2 games that we should have won, right? Based on how we played it for the majority of those games. We're 2-2. We're now 3-2. We're sitting inside the top 8. We belt West Coast. The percentage gets a boost. Like, are we sitting here looking at it a little bit differently?
Not if they're playing that type of footy.
Okay, so you don't think it changes? You don't think it changes?
No.
Do you think the big picture does change a little bit if the win-loss looks a bit better than what it does right now?
Well, it's not as big of a hurdle.
Yeah.
It's not as big of a hurdle in that position.
We've put ourselves in a position where it's very, very difficult to
it's hard
to make much of the season.
Yeah, it is. It's very hard, and that's the reason I ask, because I'm finding it very difficult to find any positives with this team until they square up the ledger at a minimum.
The hurdle's huge.
At a minimum.
Yeah.
Like you've got aspiration of playing finals footy, not just that, but making top 4 and contending for flags. You're so far off it. So far off it. So there's a few comments that are saying, like a win is always good. It does galvanise the group. I get that, but I couldn't care less. Like, you're 1-4. You're so far off where you should be. Like you can't give them the credit that I want to give them just yet. You just can't.
It's no disrespect to West Coast. Like, I don't want to disrespect West Coast.
No, you can absolutely disrespect West Coast because they were fucking dog shit.
What are you trying to say?
I'm not disrespecting West Coast, but if we want to be a team where hold ourselves to high standards, I cannot take much from a win like that. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
I agree.
Because it's against the West Coast.
I agree.
Yeah. Because what else, like, what are you going to take? I'd literally take the 4 points. There's some players, though, okay, which we will get into, like a Durden, like a Carroll.
Let's do it now.
Those kinds of players.
Yeah, that's where you
should
take
some confidence and some positives. But other than that, in terms of team perspective, there's nothing or very little.
I'll throw back to you, Dan. Go on about Durds.
No, well, I spoke about Durds earlier because I just think that's someone I think played his role perfectly in the way that it needed to be if it was better opposition. That's the way I look at it. If there was better opposition playing and the way Durds went about his footy, I look at it and go, that's a performance. That's a performance worth talking about.
Well, what I really liked from Durden was he had some intent around his pressure inside 50, which was good. He laid a big tackle in the second quarter. But I also liked that he stayed down as a small forward at the feet of Charlie. He, in the past, has really... it's been really frustrating to watch him in the past go up in packs, and it's like, mate, it's not your role. Like, stay on the ground, use your speed, use your pace, and he did a couple of times, and it worked out. And I think if he can just start to add those strings to his bow, get a bit of confidence in his body, get the consistency under his legs in actually playing week, because the injuries have killed him over the years. If he can get some consistency and play week by week, I think there might still be something there with Durds.
Well, there's opportunity now for him with our injuries as well.
I'll put it this way: for me, I'm very positive about the group, and I'm very positive about a player like Durden. I feel like as if he has a lot of the attributes to be able to play as a very, very good small forward. He can kick 20 plus in a season if he plays. Yeah, for sure. Easy.
Well, that's what you need. You need your smalls to kick 20 or 30.
But he hasn't been able to. He hasn't been able to stay on the park. Okay, and you have a look at it. Obviously, Williams been moved forward. Obviously, he went to halfback last week because of certain injuries in the team. But now, again, gone back forward because Carroll's come in. You look at Motts. You look at Durden. How much footy do you reckon they've played together?
Yeah, not much.
Barely anything.
I think was it Voss that said it in his presser?
They've barely played together. Yeah. Even like Harry and Charlie, like really, like if one of them's been in, one of them has been out early on. Then they played probably 2 seasons together, but it probably wasn't in its entirety because Harry was out as well with a knee injury or a shoulder and so on as well in patches for 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks.
Yeah, it hasn't been a lot of
So
continuity.
there hasn't been a lot of continuity.
Elijah Holland's
Even
not there now.
exactly
Yeah.
Elijah as well.
Fantasia.
Fantasia, these players, they've barely played with each other.
Yeah, it's true.
You have a look at Hawthorn. Like they're small forwards. They probably in terms of the
More
games
chemistry,
footed
yeah.
together.
Well, Watson and Ginnivan,
They-
I don't think they've missed a game together
That's what
since
I'm saying.
Watson came into the league. I was
Which
struggling
was
to
when?
think-
Last
which was
year?
Last year.
He might, yeah.
Correct. So they've played 25-ish games, or maybe more actually now, probably borderline 30 games together.
Yeah.
Do you reckon Motts, Durds and stuff have played 30 games
No,
together?
no chance.
Not a chance.
No.
Consistently too. It's
Yeah.
not like as if they're broken up.
No, that's true. If
So
they
it hasn't had
if there
consistency.
can be a little bit more consistency, absolutely. I think that helps. Another one to talk about. We'll stick with the forward line for now. What did you make of Charlie's game? So he kicked 2 goals for, but what did you make of his role?
He was higher up the ground.
Yeah, and what do you
He was
think?
definitely higher up the ground. Early on, he was picking, he was actually probably cleaner going inside 50 than anyone else.
He's probably our best.
He was,
kick inside
yeah,
50.
definitely.
I think they mentioned during the telecast. I think he's the best
In the comp.
in the comp kicking inside 50.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, you
most
could see
efficient.
it. As soon as he got his hands
Which I
on the
was
footy, he was
shocked
able
to
to hit
I
up.
didn't think that'd be the case.
Yeah, I mean,
Because they
because
would
how
hit
many
up-
times do you do it though? Like
Yeah,
really?
but I know,
so
yeah,
it's
yeah.
based on efficiency, yeah. So you
Yeah.
could have 10, hit 9, and then he's the
But
best in the
still,
comp.
you'd still rather that, would you not? You'd rather 9 out of 10 than 9 out of 20.
I think someone like Charlie, you need to keep
True.
him involved.
Yeah.
Yes or no?
No, I think you need to keep Charlie involved. And if that's how you do, then
Yeah.
that's how we need to play him.
I actually think he did well creating space. I know it's against a pretty lackluster backline, but I think it was the first time I'd seen Charlie leading at the ball for a long time, like steaming for it, like give me the footy, like he was commanding it. Obviously, I feel like him and a couple of others, like Walsh, we'll get into in a minute, and I want you to comment on this too. But with as much footy as they've missed and the interrupted pre-seasons and the surgeries and just cleaning up a few things, maybe it just takes a little bit more time than what we initially would have given them to get their legs under them. And I'm hoping that now, a month in, they're match fit, they're game, they're tactically aware again, and they know how.
It's what
how to
Jules had
execute.
said. The club didn't think, or they did not anticipate we're going to be in this situation with how Walsh's body's now. So you know what I mean? Like Walsh, they pushed his preseason back. What was it? A month?
Yeah, I think it was a month.
Was it about a month? They
Something
pushed his
like that,
preseason.
4
Yeah,
to 6 weeks, I think it was.
yeah. They pushed his preseason back, so his body would probably physically be ready now, and it's probably what you're seeing
Yeah.
for his preparation.
Yeah, but plus they would have thought they would have probably bet Richmond at least.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Plus
Yeah.
maybe Western Bulldogs. So
Yeah,
They'll back
expecting to
They were
themselves,
be-
expecting
yeah.
to be in a different position.
Yeah.
Yeah, correct.
All right, so
With how they've managed these type of players.
On Charlie, I like him playing higher up the ground.
Mm.
Trust me, if there's anyone here that's
You've
going to
said it for
like
years.
it,
Yeah, you've
I've said it for quite a bit.
Yeah.
The only difference is, I think in games, he's played higher up the ground. He still had 6 scoring shots. Like,
Yeah, that's right.
do you know what I mean? Like, he's played higher up the ground and still had 6
Yeah.
scoring shots.
Which is good.
You know,
It's good. And I mean, his set shot kicking, yeah, it was a bit frustrating that he missed a couple of sitters, really. But again, it probably just comes down to getting his feet under him. He's missed a lot of footy. People forget he was out since the Hawks game last year, missed round 1, interrupted preseason, surgery on that knee, like 3 weeks out from.
Nah, he'll come good.
Opening round.
It's just about also, I feel like as if when Harry does come back again, in a couple of weeks'
So
time.
you want to talk about continuity? They need some continuity now together because they are missing a lot of footy, like between them. They're just I feel like we have not been able to get them on the park for a long stretch since the back half. Well, even the back half of 2023, Harry was injured when we made that run. Like, we just have not been able to get them playing consistent footy together. And if we're any chance.
Yeah, but him being out now has been for a different reason.
Yeah, I know. And now he's out with a concussion. And now
yeah.
there's a concussion, so poor timing
These are things
again.
it's not down to conditioning or
No, it's
injuries
not.
or
No.
you know.
No. Well, no, not this time. But Harry has
Yeah.
been injured in the past. Knee.
Yeah.
Charlie had his knee.
Yeah.
With soft tissue. Charlie with the ankle. Like, they just have not been able to gel and mesh as the two spearhead key forwards that we need, because it allows, if Charlie's going to play up the ground, Harry plays out of the goal square.
Yeah.
We still didn't get to see that against West Coast and what that might look like. So, yeah, I mean, I'm optimistic if they can start to string some games together, but Harry's going to miss Friday again. Concussion, probably taking a little bit of time to get up and running again from a concussion. That can take a little bit of time. Comes in against Geelong. Like, that's at least another month now for Harry to get his legs under him, the way that I'm looking at it. After missing so much footy, concussion as well, having to come back into the side. So you're probably not going to see the best of Charlie and Harry together until GWS or until the mid-season bye at this point, that's just the reality.
Yeah.
We'll talk about Walsh. Obviously had probably his best game for the year for a long time. Obviously, and just keeping the context that he had more space. He might as well have brought his own footy because no one wanted to chase him all day from the West Coast outfit. But it is a game that hopefully Walshy can take a bit of form from and start to string together a few. You want to talk about or expand on what you were talking about before?
I sort of touched on it before. Just, I think I messaged both of you. Did I message you, Jules, about it? Saying about, seeing he
In the first three rounds.
Audio. Hold on.
I'm not sure where that audio. I'm not sure what's going on with the audio tonight. I do apologise, but we'll get it sorted.
Especially in the first three rounds, it was heavily more contested. It was like 2/3 contested and 1/3 uncontested. Where last week, I think it was like 1/3 contested, 2/3 of his possessions were uncontested. Even this week, there's a lot more as well.
He just looked like he was moving better. It's not working.
No, it's the cord's just not super long. It's definitely your mic.
Okay, so what do I do?
I don't know. Just be careful. Don't move it.
Okay,
don't touch it.
He was definitely moving better. You could see. You could see the way in which he was moving. He looked like he was labouring round 1, round 2. Like he just didn't look. He hasn't looked himself for a while. So I think from the way he was moving and getting up the ground and getting from contest to contest, I think now physically, I would hope that he really trusts his body and what it can do. So we can finally get that Sam Walsh that we know produce absolute quality.
It's a conversation we've had in the past. Obviously, it looked like he played a little bit more of an outside role in this one, and he did line up on the wing a couple of times. Is it the move that they've just got to make now? Like, I don't know. I mean, we've spoken about this countless times, me and you, and you still believe he's better as an inside mid. His running capacity just tells me he should be an outside player. But he looks more composed when he's getting uncontested possession. He looks more composed when he's not getting beat up in the contest for 90 minutes of the game. I don't know. I feel like at this point we're pretty lackluster for outside run and for wingers. He's all class. He's done it before. He's polled 30 Brownlow votes on a wing in his second season. It just baffles me that we've got a player that's got that ability to run out on the outside of the contest, receive the ball, have a bit of polish when he's got time and space, and we're not utilising him. We'd rather turn him into an inside mid with the back injury that he's got as well, that he's probably going to carry for the rest of his career.
Nah, for me, I don't know. Maybe if you had another Walsh, I would probably play him on a wing.
But do we not with Chera?
Nah, because Walsh moves better. That's the reason why. So Chera might have a good kick, or at least in terms of numbers, but Walsh has the ability, and he's the player where it should be a TDK, Cripps, or Hewitt, or Chera receive the ball,
Walsh
and then Walsh forward of center. He's running from the contest. That's what it should be. He should be the
Forward
last
of the stoppage.
Yeah, correct.
Well, that's still an outside role.
Yeah, but he's starting in the midfield four.
Yeah, but he's not the inside mid that's extracting.
No.
Yeah, okay.
No. He's always
that I agree with.
player
That I agree with.
receiving, so then he can use his breakaway speed and his running capacity to get to the next contest before his direct opponent or opponents.
Yeah.
Okay? That's what he is. And he's getting the ball on the outside so then he can hit up targets. That's the type of midfielder he is. And you can see it in the numbers. Like, that's what he's been able to do. Now it's just whether he can continue on with it, because like we said, it's against the West Coast. But obviously North Melbourne's obviously, their midfield's obviously half decent, at least in terms of if you're going to go their forward, mid and defense, arguably their midfield is their best part of their team. So, and it's probably not even close. So Next week will probably be a very, very good discussion around how he's tracking anyway, I feel.
Thoughts? Wing, front of stoppage, inside.
Listen,
Can you comment?
Sorry, folks.
It's 'cause
Dan's mic.
Is playing up a little bit tonight. Do apologise. Yeah, can you just can you
I
comment?
think it's
It
pulling
is.
right
Yeah,
now.
it's all right. It's all right.
Yeah, but
Just
pull it
it's all right. It's
closer
all right.
to
It's all right.
you,
It's
pull
all right.
us around the table.
It's all right. Yeah, just comment from in terms of like a longevity, passivity.
Joe, you're gonna have to fix it from there.
This is shitting me tonight. Yeah, try it. Just comment.
Go, keep going.
comment
Jules.
and I'll-
just
and
say
I'll-
what I was gonna say.
No,
Like,
no,
just
you
say-
go. You go. You go.
Can I talk?
Yeah.
Is it working? Yeah. No, I know what Joe's trying to say because Joe's thinking about his body, his back in particular, being able to handle that the contested side of the game, like the tackles. Do you know what I mean? So you're essentially preserving his body for longer. But Jules's point is that are you getting as much out of him in that role?
You're
Yeah?
not in terms
You're
of
not.
his what
That's what you're
should
trying to
be-
say.
Well, especially what he's built for the team.
You're saying irrespective of preserving or not, you're saying that in that role,
Yeah, like-
you're not getting
The thing
enough
is,
out of
like,
Walsh.
with Cripps, for example. Like
He's not
when-
as involved.
When Cripps was battered.
Yeah.
When Cripps was battered, what were you saying then?
Mm.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Different player though. Cripps doesn't have the running capacity that Walsh does.
yeah, but like then Cripps never doesn't play again. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So, like, you can't just like say, "Oh, let's move him
All I know
out."
is he had his best season of footy, statistically, votes wise, coaches votes, players votes, Brownlow, everything. When he was not just at the front of stoppage, but when he was purely a winger.
When did he win his Gary Ayres?
Well, he was still on the outside. Yeah, well, that's where he was on the outside of the stoppage in 2023.
That's what I'm saying.
He wasn't inside. mid.
That's him.
I think we're
Yeah, but
agreed.
outside of the stoppage is
It's not.
that's not outside as what you're saying.
No, but
You're saying outside out, like Joe's saying wing.
Yeah, but wing is pretty for him. I feel
You've
it's-
just protected yourself, but because
I feel like wing.
you have.
I feel
myself.
like
Yeah.
wing is too like
You're saying wing. You're not saying
I am-
outside of
no,
the
I am
contest.
I am
Like,
saying.
Jules'
I-
wing is an inside mid.
That's
That
why
is the
that's why
third
you
ball.
see him out on like a half forward and he rolls up and so on. But like as a winger, I feel like that constrains him so much in terms of his ability.
It's two
I am
different roles.
What he has.
I am saying I would prefer him as a half forward wing, preferably. But I would settle for him on the outside of stoppage. I don't want to see him in and under extracting. That's what we've seen and trying to burst away and getting tackled. And he's the one laying tackles
That's
every
up
other
to
game.
the midfield unit, though. You're talking positionally. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? That's up to
Yeah.
the midfield.
Yeah.
That's up to the
I'm
midfield to do
saying-
that.
I'm saying I would
Yours is a
settle-
positional
I would settle
thing.
for that rather than an inside mid. That's not an inside mid. What you're talking about? It's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's
As a
not.
role, it is.
It
No,
is.
no.
Walsh, Hewitt, and Cripps is where he's receiving the ball.
That's his role as an inside. His role as an inside mid is to get the ball like forward of the stoppage, to then kick the ball inside 50.
Yeah.
Yours is a wing role.
Like for example, when Warner goes inside, like in the 4, you know, or if you get a small forward, like you know how Motts does, or even
Yeah.
Dirt did on the weekend, like you don't want them to be getting
Extracting.
extracting
No.
the ball. No, you got Cripps, you got Hewitt, you got Chera. They extract and they dish it out to the outside players that can actually run.
Mm.
That's the link. That's how it's supposed to be. Like like for example, in soccer, you got the players number 10s coming into the half spaces. Like you don't want the number 6 to go into those spaces. You want the midfielder who can actually pick a pass.
I think we can agree he's better getting uncontested ball though. Yes or no?
Yes.
He's better
100%.
receiving.
Yeah, of
And
course.
that's the main point I was trying to say. Speaking of midfielders, George Hewitt, is he could be potentially leading.
This audio tonight is
Genuinely killing me. George Hewitt, are you touching the cord? or
No.
anything? I don't know whose it is then. George Hewitt could be leading our BNF at this point. He probably is, to be honest. If it's not Wiedering, I think.
Mr. Consistent.
Yeah.
At the moment.
No, that was 39. I think that might be his highest disposal game ever. 39. but he's doing it every week. Clearance king, in and under. He's running both ways, defending. He's doing everything. And if we can get 23, 24 games out of George like that, it's going to hold us in.
He only
good
had
stead as
one
midfield
tackle,
unit.
though.
Yeah, I know, but you can't do it all. Come on, man.
It's against West Coast.
It actually could be the
Yeah?
laptop. That's a really good point, Gav. Gav just made a good point. It could be the laptop.
Oh, Angels.
Of course, it's a laptop. Get a new laptop, man.
No, I don't think it's a laptop. All those cords are plugged in. Anyway, so that's George. Last one that I want to talk about, Matt Carroll. Now, it didn't set the world on fire in terms of racking up disposals.
No,
However,
yeah.
he is a player that needs to play with that intent every week. He pulls the trigger quicker than anyone on our team
Very good by foot.
and pulls the trigger with first decision
Very good.
each time. Nails it.
Very good.
I want to see Matt Carroll every single week doing that off a halfback. Said to you before the show, I want Jordan Boyd on the opposite flank doing the exact same thing, because then you've got two outlet kicks off your halfback that are pulling the trigger to the corridor that don't care. They back themselves in to hit that target.
This is where selection and integrity around selection becomes important, because you're not just dropping a Matt Carroll because he's not a Doherty, for example. You know where I'm going with this?
I 100% agree with you.
Because someone like a Matt Carroll it's a lot easier to drop him, okay, than it is to get rid of an Akers or a Doc or a Gov. So I think selection integrity around performances and around what we need becomes very, very important now.
Yeah, I'll put it this way. I'll be very upset if Carroll, mate, he can't miss next week.
No, he's playing next week.
Yeah.
Well, Voss in his presser, to be fair, said we're actually just looking for an excuse to play him because he's been showing it enough
Well, it's
in
not
training and a VFL.
Yeah, but what I'm
Sorry.
saying is I don't want him to play next week, don't play well,
and then get
and
dropped.
then get dropped.
Yeah,
or
no.
play well.
Is it still not working? This is bullshit tonight. This is
Anyway, I'll just
Can I
keep,
tell you
I'll
why-
keep doing what I got to do.
Can I
here.
tell you
don't know
why I
what's
said
going on.
that? Because Cooper Lord is another player
Yeah,
that should be playing.
100%.
Cooper
yeah.
Lord, it's bullshit as a sub, personally.
Yeah, 100% he should be playing.
Yeah.
There's nothing he can't do than other players in our
Correct.
team that's doing at the moment.
And
And
he's sort
has
of
done.
played. He hasn't really played in a consistent role either. He kind of played a half forward role this week, where he's played like a half back against Collingwood. You saw him streaming off half back, and then he played like an inside role a little bit earlier in the season. So he's kind of doing it all. He's shown that he's a bit versatile, and his disposals.
Joe,
Good.
these young players are hungry to prove something.
Yeah.
That's important. You've got to blood these type of players within
Yeah.
your side.
Thing is, we are blooding a lot, but I don't feel like as if we're giving them enough consistency.
One game they get dropped.
Yeah.
It's literally what happens.
Or
One
they're- or they're
game
sub.
they get dropped.
Or their
Yeah.
sub, or their emergency. Then they don't get continuity in their football because
what pisses me off is you.
That's at 60% capacity over these type of players.
Mm.
That's what gets me.
yeah.
I
single-handedly ruined the podcast.
don't blame it on me. I apologise.
Or
I
Jordan.
don't know what's going on. Don't blame it on Jordan. I don't know what's going on. I do apologise to the viewers
It'd
and
be-
the listeners that the
do you know what'd
audio
be
is
interesting?
doing this tonight.
To see how we select the team against North.
Done
Can
10.
they hear Jules though?
No, it's completely cut.
Fuck.
So it's not the mic.
No, it is the mic. It's telling me on the screen your mic is unplugged, and then it cuts out the audio, and I've got to reset it all quickly. But anyway,
Whether it's going to be, like for like in terms of like, all right, Mackay and Kemp are gone.
Mm.
So who are you going to bring in? Young and
Well, it looks
and
like Young.
and Pinanet? Like, are you going to go two talls?
listen. Let's talk about that in the preview because I've got a bit to say about that in terms of what we should be doing this week, and it revolves around Pito.
Yeah,
It does.
Does that make sense? So, like, but what I mean by that, I'm not in terms of going into next week's like selection, But are you going to go in terms of structure, or are you going to pick it on personnel? Like, because Cooper Lloyd should be
On
playing.
who deserves to play?
Yeah,
He's
like
saying,
it needs to
yeah.
be a mixture of both. Like, does that make
Yeah.
sense? Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Like, I'll be honest with you, I don't think Doc should play.
Yeah, you don't want to sway too much
Even
around
Doc,
structure.
I mean, this is the
I really
thing,
don't.
so
Even against West
that was a low
West
pressure
Coast
game.
Yeah.
And we've spoken about Doc a bit. Everyone's talking about Doc. That's a low pressure game. I wasn't too impressed by what I saw.
Yeah.
of Doc
Likewise.
again.
I was listening. I think it
There
was
was a
Nathan,
couple kicks that went wayward that I was just
I
like,
think I think it was Nathan Buckley. He made comments like, Doherty's playing, but for a player that's played, 200 plus games and like with his football IQ, it's pretty easy to like just get a 25 possession game if they really wanted to.
Mm.
So then the numbers look good.
Yeah, so the numbers look good. But
Does that make
I'm
sense?
not-
So like,
to be honest, I haven't looked at the stat sheet too much this year. I'm
Yeah, I'm the
basing this
same.
based on what I see with the eye, and the eye tells me he's just not up to it right now. Not saying that he's done. He needs to go and find some form
I agree.
in the twos, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'd just be saying to him as a coaching group, Doc, there's players knocking down the door that are performing more consistently than what you are right now. We still believe you've got a lot of good footy to give us. Go and find your touch. Go and find your form at the twos for a month, and we'll bring you back in. And we will bring you back in 4 weeks. But you've got to go find some pill, and you've got to go find that hunger and that desire again. I don't think the game has passed him completely. I think he's a little bit unsure of himself. He looks like he's unsure of himself out there. Does that make sense? With the way that he goes into contests and the
I'd
way
be
that he's
unsure of myself if I've done 3 or 4 knees.
and it's 100%.
Yes or no?
I'm not
For
blaming
sure.
that. You can't blame him. Like, you're going to feel that way, but I just think it's negligent of us to think that he's going to find it at AFL level. There's more pressure on him every week. Go back to the twos. Go find your touch. It won't take him much to find what he needs to find. I just think you just got to give him a little spell. But anyway, any other players you want to comment on, boys? I got one more, but then that's it, and it's just a quick one.
Who is it?
Nick Haynes, bit of love. 21 disposals, 10 marks, 9 intercepts, went at 90% disposal efficiency.
Yeah.
He's been a bit of a whipping boy since he's come across, and obviously he had
his
pretty
debut
poor,
killed him.
yeah, he had a pretty poor game against Richmond.
His
I think it's what
debut
people
killed
are
him.
remembering, but I think outside of that, he hasn't been too bad. He hasn't been
Not the
completely
worst.
poor. No. And I think he will, with each week, he's just going to settle more and more. I think we're going
Can I
to get
ask
the
you a
best out of
question?
him.
If we were to stick with, if we were to go from 4 talls in defence to 3, who are you getting rid of?
Yeah, well, probably him at the moment.
Yeah.
Well, it's
Yes or
either
no?
him or Gov based on form. But
Like, I would probably say Gov's more he's more versatile.
yeah, he's got a
That's
bit
why
more
you
pace
keep
and whatnot.
Gov.
Yeah.
But I would, based on form, I'd probably drop Gov.
Okay. Yeah,
But,
that's fair enough.
but his versatility,
we can talk
his
about this.
versatility is probably more valuable.
Govs.
Gov's.
100%.
We can
But
talk-
I would drop him.
We can talk
Yeah.
about this every week. I'm going to take a line out of your book here. We can talk about what we want to see. This is what will happen, Jules. You will see 4 talls for the rest of the year. That is
Yeah, I
what
think
they will
I
do. That's taking a line out of Jules' book when I ask him, Jules, what do you think? What do you want to see more?
Mate, you know
He'll
what the
go,
thing is?
don't
I
know.
agree with you. I don't
can
like
tell you-
it.
I can tell you exactly where he's going to be.
But does it happen?
It does. Yeah.
Exactly. So?
it's still not your opinion.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But the thing is, I see us going 4 talls.
Yeah.
No, they will. They're going to roll with it. They have done it for
Yeah.
long enough now, and they've switched the magnets to keep that structure behind the ball. That's
That's
what
why they're bringing in Young.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. Anyway, Libby's last word, then we'll get into the preview.
Hey everybody, it's Livy with Livy's Last Words, and this is what I thought about the game. Well, it's very good to get a 71 win against West Coast. I mean, we played all right. Like, West Coast are an easy team to beat, and I reckon we did good, but we did a few bad sloppy passes and stuff like that, which was not good. But anyways, Will White getting his first goal, that was amazing. And Patrick Cripps going into the forward at the end was actually really good. He had a few shots on goals, he missed a few, but he got 3 goals, which was very nice. But mate, the amount of injuries that happened in that game was crazy. I hope Mackay will be okay. But Corey Durden scoring four goals. It was great to see him and kicking 4 goals, which was amazing. But overall, it was good to lose our losing streak and beat West Coast. But anyways, next week we are versing North Melbourne. Hopefully we beat them and start getting a winning streak. But anyways, this is what I thought about the game. Go the Blues!
No, not yet. Jesus. It's not your segment yet. All right. Good Friday footy. 3:20, I think it is this year.
Preparing it.
3:20?
Is it 3:20?
It used to be 4:35 start, but I think they've brought it back to 3:20
Why is that?
at Marvel. I'm not sure. Leave it.
Fuck, I've got lunch.
You're going to ruin it. Leave
I'm
it.
preparing it.
3:20 on Friday. We're not going. Well, I didn't get us tickets this one.
I'm not going.
No, I didn't get us tickets. It's an away game. I couldn't secure tickets. Anyway, 3:20 Friday, Marvel Stadium, North Melbourne. They're a bit up and down North. I don't know really what to make of them. They mounted a comeback against the Suns.
No, they were competitive.
Very
They were
competitive, but then they still got slapped. So I don't know. I don't really know where it places them, to be honest. Like, are they just a team that gives a bit of a whimper and then all you got to do is sustain it for long enough and they'll drop off? But then they smash Melbourne. Melbourne look like rubbish, but they smash Melbourne, put them away. I don't know. I honestly don't know what to make of North at the moment. I don't know if they're going to come out and be competitive for 4 quarters or if we're going to get the same sort of North that we've seen in the past.
I don't know. I feel like as if they're a super talented side, especially midfield wise. Yeah. Other than that, like you have a look at their defense, and even I know Charlie, obviously Harry is out, but you still have Charlie, and even the Smalls. I feel like as if they should have a decent day. To be fair, like I don't see us not doing well in those areas, and I feel like as if our dead defense should match up quite easily on their forwards as well. So, Wiedering will go to the Souvlaki.
Yeah, he should. Yeah,
yeah. Other than that, really up forward, they probably don't have much else.
I
Really.
think the ball's in our court.
Oh, Paul Curtis is a handy player. Cam Zurhaar's been in a bit of form.
Yeah,
they've got a little bit of class up there.
Defensively,
we should match up with them.
Yeah, defensively in the back six we should match
Defensively, we've shown that we can nullify teams to score
easily,
very easily. So it's more about what we do going forward.
Yeah.
That is plain and simple. It's more on us than it is them, because we know we're going to nullify. We can hold up against any team.
Yeah, I feel like, I don't know.
We keep teams to a low score. That's a reality. That's what we're seeing.
I feel like as if other teams haven't beaten us. I feel like as if we've just lost the games. Like we've lost our games.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
more so
from poor execution or just
correct.
This game against North Melbourne, in particular, will be on us.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Plain and simple.
Yeah.
It really will.
Agree. I'm looking
And
at
selection.
So there's a few players. there's just a few players who've got to nullify. Caleb Daniel, probably their best ball user. Harry Sheasel as well, another good ball user. If you nullify the influence of Davies Uniacke in the contest, you also got to look after like a Luke Parker and maybe a Tristan Jerry. Outside of that, and then obviously Larky. Outside of that,
Joe,
we should have them covered.
Joe,
Should.
turnover. It's where we turn the.
It's going to hurt us. The thing is, though, we're very good at defending the ground. So I don't have the issue is in terms of turning the ball over. I actually don't have issues with getting the ball turned over. I have issues with us not executing to score a goal rather than actually turning the ball over, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I
Because we're
agree.
not scoring.
But it's where
the
we're
other teams-
turning it
the
over.
Other team, you're correct.
Yeah.
But the other teams actually aren't scoring. Yeah, but it's the fact that we're not scoring. That's the issue. And it's putting more pressure on.
I honestly don't know what's going on here. I don't know.
We're going to have to wrap this up pretty quickly because I'm not sure what's going on with the audio today. I apologise. Yeah, look, we can do it. I'd love to do more of a preview at the end of the day. I just don't want to. I don't want to keep doing this all night if the audio is going to keep dropping in and out. Yeah, look, we should have them covered. Let's do some quick ins and outs, predictions on that, and then we'll give a prediction on final score. Ins and outs. We were just talking about this as Livy was speaking. We all agree Pito should come in this week. Harry's out, Kemp's out. They're two big outs this week.
Mhm.
Pito comes in. Tom plays more forward.
Yep, we agreed on that.
I think we all agree with that. Do you bring Lewis Young in to hold your structure up forward?
I think it might happen, but I don't
I
think
don't want to
should.
see it.
Yeah.
So who comes in instead?
Well, Akers has to come in.
So Akers will probably come back in, which means who makes way? If it's based on who came in for him, it's probably Cooper Lord, whether we agree with it or not.
I would
think it would
like
be Doc.
I'd probably say I'd want Doc.
I'd probably,
Yeah,
I'd
I probably want Doc as well.
I'd probably say Doc first.
Knowing that he's been playing there as well on the wing,
And
majority of
then
it.
Elijah,
I'd like to see Moya again.
well, a lot. No, I don't think so.
Why?
I don't have the time tonight to talk about Ashton Moyer just yet.
Really?
But Elijah Holland sounds like he's ready to go. Based
Oh,
on
okay,
Voss's
Lige.
press
I
conference,
think Elijah.
Is he actually ready to go
based
or
on
not?
Voss's press conference, what I took from that
If
is
he's ready to go, then yes.
he
Yeah.
is
I could see him being a sub.
pretty much ready to go.
I could see Elijah
He's
coming
put
in
together.
as a
He's
sub.
put together good training blocks. He's played good footy in the twos. It sounds like they're comfortable with where
Okay.
he's at. It sounds like this could be the game they bring him in.
If Elijah's ready, then yeah.
Right. Fantasia's still 2 or 3 weeks off. So then you'd probably expect Fantasia to come back in for like a Will White or something. So I think, yeah, Akers comes in. We all probably say Doc goes out. Elijah comes in for Kemp. Pitto comes in for Harry. TDK plays a bit more forward.
Agree.
It should be as simple as that.
And who's
this
the
week.
sub?
I mean, you probably could make Doc the sub
Mm.
rather than Cooper.
Yeah, but you're not taking.
No,
yeah,
no.
but Cooper's already in, so Doc would be out.
No,
In terms
because
of
Cooper
numbers.
was the sub.
Yeah, but okay,
Does
yeah,
that make sense?
yeah.
Something like sub.
You got Boyd, but I don't think we need Boyd.
Boyd, I mean, Boyd would be nice. Let's get this done. I don't know. I can't work this out tonight. I apologise. Anyway, the predictions, final scores. Jules, mate, just sit back a bit. Everyone just sit back from your mic cables so we're not touching anything. Predictions, final scores. What should this be at a minimum? If we're serious about
It should
franking,
be
about
5
frank, if we're going to
Yeah, I
frank
was
that
it
shit,
should be a
It should be
30-point
fine,
win.
But like an easy 30-point win. I'm not talking about just putting four goals, in the last 7-8 minutes. I'm talking it should be pretty convincing.
Yeah, 30 points.
Agreed. Should be at least 30. All right. We are going to wrap this up quickly because the audio doesn't want to be too kind to us tonight. So we'll finish off with this.
Keep calm. Count to 10. 1, 2, 3, 8, 9, 10.
Not happy, Jen!
Side. It goes like this.
Is it like this?
And then you can just see how you rest your... No, on the side, Jules, like that. Yeah, see how you rest it. Anyway.
I feel like I've been in a car accident. I feel like I've been in a genuine car accident.
Boy? You know the Wog Boy? What's the guy's name?
Yeah, it's is it the Croatian bloke? What's his name?
My neck.
Yeah.
My neck.
Anyway, Not Happy Dan, now sponsored for the next 4 weeks by Airzy Travel.
We've got a
Neck pillows.
sponsor.
Airzy, AIRZE Travel. You can find them on Instagram. You can Google them. I am heading back to Europe for the last time for a little while to meet up with my partner who's been there for 2 years. And I need a neck pillow. And I came across Airzy, and they've given us all... Fuck, we look so stupid.
Plus, they love the segment.
They've given us all these fantastic neck pillows. They really are. They're good. I've traveled a lot in the last year, and the worst thing is having a neck pillow that doesn't give you neck
I feel like
support.
I'm a dog that's been desexed.
But think about when you're sitting on a plane, you got those really shitty neck pillows that just do nothing for you. You know, the ones with beans in them. Imagine just being able to sit up.
Yeah.
And it's good for this segment because it usually puts me and Jules to sleep to finish it off because you tell some bullshit story. So
What, you reckon?
story
Bullshit.
time with Dan. Jules, we could not off you go.
Jordan,
The audio.
the audio. Jules and I cannot do a podcast. Jules and I cannot do a podcast with this shit happening every week. Every week.
Why just you and Jules?
Jules and I can't work at our best.
Divas.
Okay? Mate, sort it out. Done.
They reckon the neck pillow, since we put these on, the audio's been fixed.
No way. No way. George,
What's your
Not
actual,
happy.
What's your actual? not
That's
happy bit?
that's
Oh,
that's where I'm
let's
at.
go with that.
I'm going with that. Not happy. We
Well-
can't. The podcast is a disaster.
No, it wasn't a disaster. They said it's fine. They said it hasn't been too bad. I've been keeping on top of it here. So anyway, Ezzy, Jordan said, "Tell Dan he's dreaming." No, it's fine. We'll sort it out. Just a little technical glitch tonight. But there's your Ezzy neck pillows. They are very, very comfortable. Go and get your Ezzy travel pillows if you are thinking of traveling anytime soon. I'm very much looking forward to using
Doesn't
them.
feel like it's on right.
No, it's definitely all right. You just we looked on screen. That looks very funny. Anyway, yes, that's it for tonight. I do apologise that the audio let us down a little bit at times, but we'll get that fixed. And until next week, Jules is admiring. Until next week, boys. Go Blues.
Kind of baggers.
Carla Daggers.